Sheepblaster has turned 1 year old today. This is currently, it's the 3rd of June today, so that means that I posted my first video a year ago today. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to do a little kind of, I guess about me or something, tell you a bit more about myself, because I realized that I actually haven't really talked that much about me, my life, I guess. I talk about my self-improvement stuff, my current lifestyle, but I don't talk about the past. So I'll just tell you briefly about that. I'll have some videos up, but I used to go clubbing a lot. I started when I was 13, 14 years old. And even on self-improvement, I was still going because that was what all my friends were doing, my degenerate friends, unfortunately. Much love to them, but I don't talk to them anymore. So clubbing and stuff was the lifestyle that I knew for most of my life. I was doing things like smoking cigarettes, vaping, drinking alcohol, smoking weed, although I stopped after a while because it started messing up with my mental health. I just couldn't take it, which is probably a good thing. I don't want to get into weed, you know. During all this time, I was very, very superficial. I placed a lot of value on my Instagram likes and stuff. I remember I posted a selfie on Instagram and it got 100 likes, and I was so excited that I exclaimed to my mom, Mom, look, I got 100 likes on my picture on Instagram. And I showed her, and I was I look back on that now and I'm like, bro, you the fuck's wrong with that? But we all cringe at our past self, and I'm very grateful that I'm not, that obsessed with silly things like Instagram anymore. I grew up childhood in Scotland, so for not most of my life, but maybe a quarter of my life, I was quite privileged. Although I did grow up, I did get bullied in my primary school for having a Thai mum, which kind of sucked. But then I moved to Thailand, went to an international private British school, and there was a lot of pros and cons. The pros is that it was a really good education. The cons were that I was too retarded to realize that I had such a good education at my fingertips. If I just tried even a little bit, I would have gotten the best grades you could ever see. But instead I partied and I came out with very mediocre grades despite going to such an esteemed school. So that's one of my regrets, but I mean, what can you do? Then for my A-levels, I moved back to London. It was around the last couple of months of me staying in London that I discovered self-improvement through Hamza's channel. And then I moved to Thailand, which was the perfect opportunity to really go into changing up my lifestyle and whatever. London was a good time, although there were some pros and cons. I mean, it was 2-3 years of my life. The biggest con obviously was that COVID happened, so I didn't get to fully experience my potential schooling and lifestyle that could have been there. This was around the time that I started doing a lot of drugs. I met Jamie at this time as well. We were both quite degenerate, and we'd go out to motives, and I've talked about this before, but you'd meet 13-year-olds who were on MDMA, and they'd be sucking on this baby thing, and they'd be like, I love your hair. And they'd be 13, losing their brain cells. So yeah, I did that for a bit, a couple months maybe. That was not really even the peak of my degeneracy. I think my peak was when I was in Thailand, because in Thailand they did not ID you, so you could just go actually clubbing at the age of 13, 14. And I think now it's even younger. I see I remember seeing 12-year-olds clubbing. Thailand was good. There was definitely a lot of times that I think I should have focused more on self-improvement and like the whole lifestyle of everything of that. But I think it was also important that I have moved back to the UK now, where I am currently, and really separate myself from that old lifestyle of, you know, partying and seeing those people and going to the places that we'd always go to. And, you know, like, it's good to be like in a completely new place, and I'm very, very grateful to be here. So where does that actually bring us? That's my backstory. But what are some things that you might not know about me? Well, you already know that I play guitar, but I went through an emo phase. When I was like 13 or 14, I had like a Tumblr blog, and I was obsessed with this one band called 21 Pilots. Yes, if you know what I'm talking about, that was like one of the things I was really obsessed of. It was quite funny because even though I was so young, I kind of convinced myself that I was depressed because of that music. I was, you know, listening to depressing music, which made me depressed, and so I would relate more to the depressing music, and then I'd think I was depressed, and it was just a big falafel of stuff that happened, which is quite funny. But also I'm grateful that I went through all of that, because that was when I started really indulging in like my artistic / creative side of like drawing and painting and all that. I painted on my walls. I've posted a video about that before, but I'll probably include it in this one. Also, I'm very grateful that I've quit smoking. I was just thinking about it, like how last weekend it was my brother's first Holy Communion, so a bunch of family came around and there were a lot of smokers and vapors, and it reminded me of when I would go to a party at the age of 15, 16, like my current age now, and everyone would be drinking, and there would also be smokers. Everyone would be smoking, and it really, really reminded me, like this adult party reminded me of that like 15, 16-year-old experience of a party. And I realized they are still, like, they probably started from that age of like a young age, and every party that they've gone to, there has been smokers. So I think that's one of the things that I'm just really happy that I don't do. I think that's all I'm gonna say for now. You can leave comments or whatever if you want to know like anything specific about me. But thank you for being here. I'll talk to you later. Peace.